Good evening, it's Yuri Elkaim with you. Thank you for joining me. I am going to be answering a question that I recently got from one of my followers on YouTube, which is a little bit off topic from what I normally talk about with respect to fitness and nutrition. And it's all about how to let go, how to let go of grudges, stuff like that that's just kind of like wearing you down and kind of taking up space in your RAM. And Bean Smoothie, welcome. Yes, this video is crisp. That's the way it goes. I guess I've got a decent internet connection close to my phone, so that always helps. Thank you for joining me. So we're going to be talking about how to let go so you can actually feel happy, feel yourself. And while you're here, let me know where you are joining me from. We've got Brazil in the house. Awesome. I know some Portuguese. Obrigado. Obrigado, which means thank you, right? I spent some time playing soccer in Sao Paulo when I was 17. Beautiful, beautiful country, amazing people. So thank you. Vera from British Columbia, welcome. Okay, so let's get this party started. So I just put the little guy down, or the littlest guy down. I put him to sleep. So now I've got a bit of time to do this for you guys. So what I'm thinking of doing is I might do a morning Periscope and then an evening recap session, or just kind of like an Ask Yuri session to finish off the day, if that's cool with you guys. I'm going to try to keep it at a consistent time of day. 7 o'clock-ish would be ideal, but it's tough sometimes with the kids going to bed at that time. So I'm starting a little bit early tonight. So here we go. Okay, so here's a question from Osama from my YouTube channel. He says, Yuri, you are changing my life. Thank you. During my whole life, my goal is to learn how to let go. Unfortunately, I have no clue how to do it, nor have I been able to find a way to overcome it. Could you please point me to a method / way to teach me how to let go? So this is more of a kind of a meta type of topic, a little bit above and beyond just nutrition, just fitness, but it ties in with health. Because here's the thing. If you hold on to grudges, if you hold on to that kind of negative energy, that eventually will manifest itself as dis-ease. When you're holding on to something, do you feel at peace? Are you, is your body at ease? And the answer is no. And, if you want to think about the metaphysical perspective of getting sick and disease, it's really stuck energy. So if you're holding on to negative energy, negative emotions, and grudges towards somebody who did something to you in the past, and for whatever reason you cannot let it go, it will manifest itself physically somehow. And unfortunately, for instance, if you've read the book by Louise Hay, How You Can Heal Your Life, she says that she looks at how emotions manifest themselves physically. And one of the things that she found with cancer is that cancer tends to grow where there is stuck emotion around forgiveness and not being able to let go. So that's a big one. I mean, that's a huge, that in and of itself is a huge reason to let go of nonsense that you might be holding on to. Now, I say nonsense, I don't mean to be condescending, but what I want to challenge you with is, if you are having trouble letting go, I want to ask you a question. What purpose is holding on to that thing serving you with? Okay? What purpose? What is the secondary gain, as it's known in psychology? There's always a reason that we do something. How do I tell someone they need to let go? You don't. They have to come to that conclusion themselves. Every comment that comes out of this person's mouth is negative. So that would kind of be classified in my dictionary as an energy vampire, and you basically want to spend less time with those people. And if it's a family member, sometimes you have to have the big conversations and be like, listen, I'm on kind of a path that's going this way, and if it's your boss, then maybe you need to look for something else to do for work, because obviously you are in an environment that is going to intoxicate you. And again, I'm not going to say, quit your job and stuff like that, but at a certain point in time, you have to really understand the value of you and your time and you as a person. And when people are surrounding you that are constantly negative, that are wearing you down, it's ridiculous to spend time with that, because it's like, being in an abusive relationship. Like, why would you allow someone to physically or emotionally abuse you and then come up with stories like, oh, he loves me and all this kind of stuff? It's ridiculous. So I've made a point in my life of only surrounding myself to the best of my ability with people that are going to lift me up, and I can do the same to them. And maybe this came from playing soccer professionally for a number of years, where, if you're playing teams that are better than you, you're automatically going to elevate your game. Whereas if you're playing teams that are worse, you, are going to play to their level. And the same thing happens in life. You become a reflection. Your life becomes a reflection of the 5 or 6 people you spend the most time with. So if that's your boss, if those are your colleagues, if those are your friends, and they're not moving you to a greater level, then you need to find new people to hang around. And sometimes that might take the form of a virtual session like this. I can tell you one of my best mentors is Tony Robbins, and I've never met him in person. I've listened to his stuff for years, and it's transformed the way I've thought. Obviously, like the late Wayne Dyer as well is another one, just an incredible man, and it's obviously sad to see him pass. But these are people that, you can tap into their wisdom, you can tap into their positivity, and just on your headphones or in reading their books. And again, you become what you put into your minds, right? Whether that's if you're watching the news every single night, you are going to have a certain viewpoint of the world that is very fear-based, and that's pretty negative, right? So if you want to feel a little bit better in your life, or a lot better in your life, you need to surround yourself with people who are going to elevate you. You need to be putting inputs into your brain that are going to be of positivity and optimism and beliefs, or instilling beliefs in you that tomorrow is going to be better than today, and that you can make whatever you want to make happen, because that's the reality, okay? Nobody's going to stop you from what you want to achieve in life other than yourself. That's it, okay? So between the ears here, like this little brain, or this big brain that we have, is really the most incredible gift, but it's also our biggest obstacle. So, yeah. Okay, so how to let go? That is the question. So here's the thing. The question is not how to let go, because the how to let go is fairly simple. The question is, are you willing to let go? And again, going back to that question I asked earlier, is what is the story? Why are you holding on to this grudge, to this thing? How is it serving you? Is it making you feel... So we all have, humans have a host of basic needs, right? We have certainty, the need for certainty, the need for uncertainty, the need for love and connection, and the need for significance and contribution. And a lot of times when we're holding on to stories like this, think about what is the need? What is the need that is being met by this? And if it's meeting 3 needs, then it's going to become a habit. So if you have a habit of being in a kind of a negative state and kind of holding on to grudges, I'm probably going to say that it's meeting the need of significance, because the story that you're telling yourself about this person did this to me and I'm going to hold on to it is making you feel significant to yourself, just in your head. Like, you're significant because you have this problem. Okay, it sounds kind of weird, but it's kind of the way it goes. The need for certainty, perhaps, right? You're certain because you know for sure that you have this grudge or this negative energy against somebody. That's a feeling of certainty, versus if you didn't have that, that would be uncertain, and that might be awkward. That might be different than what you're used to. So again, ask yourself, how is this thing that you're holding on to serving you? And which of those human needs is it meeting? Because that's really where it's going to come from. Once you've identified those, and for instance, let's say your feeling of significance is driving the need to hold on to the story. Well, maybe create a different story. Find another way to be significant. And here's the thing, try not to chase significance. because that's where people start chasing fame and glory and the narcissistic kind of self-images that you see all over Instagram. It's just, it's ridiculous, right? I would encourage you to seek contribution. So if you want to feel better about yourself, serve others. If you're in a crappy mood, find a way to serve others. If I'm in a crappy mood, which happens sometimes, obviously, then the best thing for me to do is pop on a Periscope or shoot some YouTube videos. Because instantly when I'm in service mode, I'm removed myself from my own issues, and now I'm focusing on being of service to others. And that's one of the greatest gifts you can give to the world. So no matter what it is that you do, whether it's cleaning floors or putting together videos like this or writing books or anything else, you have a gift that is unique to you. And if you spend more time sharing that gift with others, then it really, really elevates you to a whole other level of contribution, and just, it really, really feels good. So that's why I love to do what I do, and I would encourage you to do the same. And I think we're moving into a world where more and more people are going to be able to do what they want to do on their own terms, no longer having, no longer needing to work for the man, because if you're not building your own dream, you're building somebody else's. Right? And I know I'm going off on tangents here, but these are just kind of some of the things that I kind of live and believe. And yeah, so what do you guys think? Are you enjoying this? If you are, just tap the screen. Let's get some hearts going. Let's see if I can answer another question while I'm here. Well, thank you so much for the love, guys. Again, if you want to join me on my blog, yurielkaim.com. If you don't know who I am, I'm a New York Times bestselling author. I'm a fitness and nutrition expert. And you can join my shenanigans over at yurielkaim.com. I specialize in helping you have a lot more energy, help you losing weight, and helping you achieve anything, because I really believe that you can eat well and exercise well, but unless you've got the inner game going, right, you're going to be held back from a lot of these things. So that's why I love talking about this kind of stuff, which is kind of off topic as it pertains to fitness and kind of nutrition, but it's so important, right? For instance, if you're holding onto emotional issues, you think that you probably will not be eating as well as you want to. Why is it that we overeat? Why is it that we eat the wrong foods that we know we shouldn't be eating? Right? Why? Because we're looking to feel a certain way. And unfortunately, a lot of us have been conditioned just over years and habituation that when we eat certain foods, we feel calmer, we feel happier. And it's a very, very short-term fix to, So how to overcome the unknown, being fearless. I don't think you can ever be fearless. And to overcome the unknown, what you really have to understand is that there's always going to be the unknown. And what it takes is embracing fear, because you're here, let's say, and you want to go here. Okay? So there's a bridge, there's a chasm in between this and where you want to be. And in order to cross this chasm, what's required is courage. So this chasm is called fear, if you will, right? You're going from here to something you don't know. And it doesn't matter anybody in life, everybody in life, no matter where they are, what their status is, whatever it is, everybody has a different level of fear. And maybe it's going from never having worked in a specific job to working in a new place of work, and you've never done that before. So there's fear, there's this unknown, and all it takes is a bit of courage to do that, to kind of take that step forward and be like, you know what, I know that there's a bit of fear here, and I'm just gonna have the courage to go through it anyways. Because on the flip side of courage comes confidence. And when you've got confidence, you start becoming unstoppable, right? And the only way to develop more confidence is to have the courage to go through the fear. So fear never disappears. I mean, I experience fear maybe at a different level now than I used to. For instance, I used to be fearful of making a mistake in a soccer game. Now I'm fearful of, different things in business. If things don't work out, or if I'm unsure of how something is going to work out, there's obviously a certain level of fear. For instance, with my book, The All-Day Energy Diet, that came out last September, there's a huge amount of fear there because I had never launched a book before. I made a huge decision, like a major investment commitment to do whatever it takes to make this book a massive success. And that was extremely uncomfortable. Most people in the United States pay more for their house than that investment decision I made. But it was a risk I was willing to take because I knew this was a message that a lot of people needed to know about, because everyone's suffering from low energy. And if I can help them with that, and I knew the book was far different from everything else that was out there on energy, which is the same old crap. Eat more protein in the morning, have some nuts and seeds. You know, it's just such a generic, plain vanilla message. And I've been able to help so many people improve their energy over the past 2 decades of doing this stuff. So there was a lot of fear. I didn't know that this was going to be a success. And it was a massive success because I had the courage to go through it. And we, helped 60 some odd thousand people with this book alone the first couple of weeks. And it became a #2 New York Times bestseller, Wall Street Journal bestseller, USA Today bestseller. I was on Dr. Oz and the doctors and all this great stuff. And the only reason I was able to do that was because I kind of danced with the fear. It was uncomfortable. I'll tell you. I mean, there was a couple nights where I didn't really sleep well, but that never goes away, right? See, here's the cool thing though, is that now I have the confidence that if I were to do that again, I now have a blueprint, or I've kind of gone through it based on that initial courage, so that I know that I can do it again. And so my next book, The All Day Fat Burning Diet, is coming out, so releases in stores December 22nd. And if you want to pre-order it, you can do that on Amazon or Barnes & Nobles or anywhere else. Yeah. So what was the moment that you knew that was the right decision? I don't know. I can't remember the exact moment. It was really just, so my coach Dan Sullivan talks about these 4 C's, right? You've got commitment, courage, confidence, capability and confidence. And it's really just a matter of making a decision to commit to something. And I said, listen, if I'm going to write a book, that's a huge undertaking. That's like bringing a baby into this world in terms of the writing of it, the marketing of it, and all that stuff. And I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it full on. And when I made that commitment, that was pretty much the time that I made that decision to go full out. So what it might take for you is to just sit down and reflect. And remember, all change happens in an instant. It might take days or weeks or years to get to that instant, but it's that instant where you make the decision to change things, where it all changes. So what if your level of courage is very low to the point of zero confidence? Well, let me see if I can, I talked about this in a podcast. Let me see if I can illustrate this for you guys. I have to get out the whiteboard at some point. Give me 1 sec. I'm just trying to see if I have a book. What did he say that was the 4 C's? Yeah, the 4 C's. So Dan Sullivan runs Strategic Coach, the highest level coaching group for high-level entrepreneurs. So you basically have commitment, courage, capability, and confidence. And in order to get to confidence, you have to go through the previous 3, right? You can't not commit to something. You can't have capability without first committing to something, right? So if you want to learn how to speak German, then you have to make the commitment to speak German. And then there's a certain amount of fear there because, is this going to take forever? Am I going to look like a fool? Am I going to learn this? Am I going to fail? Having the courage to go through the daily practice to develop the capability of speaking German. And then with repetition, that leads to confidence. For instance, so if you go to Germany or Austria, you can speak German, right? And then it just kind of repeats itself. So when you don't have confidence, or when you're kind of at a low point, all you can really do is take action. If you're fearful of anything, the best thing you can do is take action. If you're scared of spiders like I am, the best thing you can do is take incremental progressive action towards becoming desensitized to spiders, right? So if a spider is over here and I'm scared to touch it, all I have to do is take 1 step towards the spider. one more step towards the spider. And slowly but surely you build up those progressive, incremental little bits of action, and you become desensitized, because very often the closer you get to your fear, the more you realize that it's really not that big, because we make up a lot. I mean, a lot of this stuff is made up in our minds, and we tend to, it's like when you, like with celebrities. I'll give you a perfect example. I was on a flight to Los Angeles the other week, and 3 seats in front of me was Kiefer Sutherland. And if you don't know who he is, I mean, obviously, like, he was the lead actor in 24, which was like a hit TV series for almost a decade. And I love that show. And you see these people in movies and TV and stuff, and you kind of, they're on like a pedestal, right? They're like, oh my God, if I ever met this person, I'd like freak out. But when he got up out of his seat when we were getting off the plane, you know, he's just standing there. I was still on my seat, and I'm just like, cool. You know, it's just an extra, you know, a regular guy. And that's the thing, is the closer you get to these big people, the more you realize they're just regular people. And the same thing with your fears. The closer you get to your fear, the more it tends to dissipate. And the only way to do that is by taking action. So there it is. Cool. Okay, so I need to wrap things up because I gotta put the kids to bed, and then I actually have to go to FedEx because I just got the galley copy of the all-day fat burning diet, which was delivered to my house today, but I missed it because I wasn't here, so I have to go pick it up right now. And I will shoot the next Periscope video. You know, I'll have it in my hand so you guys can have to see, have a look at what it looks like. It's pretty awesome. So there we go, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Yuri Elkaim. You can join me over at the blog, yurielkaim.com. The URL should be in my profile. And if you've enjoyed this, let's get some hearts. Thank you for joining me, and tell all your friends, your family. Let's see how many cool colors we can get here with the hearts. Oh, here it comes. We got some blues, greens, reds, yellows. Can we get some purples? Can we get some purples? Oh, there they are. There they are. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have an amazing evening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.